Hello, I'm Tesla, a 24-year-old in Texas living off of a single gross salary of $60,000 a year. I get paid bi-monthly, so I got my final paycheck of the month today, and as I'm assigning my money, which is all of the money in the Ready to Assign section up here, I'll also be comparing my categories to the last budget I set up to see if things have been going according to plan. Spoiler alert, the answer is no. I know some people reconcile only every week and then they move their money around when it's time to budget the new check, but I do those things daily to make sure I'm always looking at the most accurate data. I'm glad I started doing this video journey because if I had asked myself what I had set out to spend, like a week ago, I would have forgotten, or I would have just lied to myself and told myself that I was, on target, even if I wasn't. So I guess we'll see. First things first, I am still learning things about YNAB, so I had to adjust some things. So previously what I was doing with all my savings funds is I was assigning that inflow to a category instead of like putting it in Ready to Assign. But apparently if you assign this inflow to a category, even though it isn't like technically income because you already had it, it throws off your reports like long term. And I found this out from Reddit's YNAB page. It's great for like troubleshooting or any questions. I had never used Reddit before, but the whole community there is really great at helping you figure your stuff out. So if you're new to the platform, I really recommend it. I'll have it linked in the description below. So now that all these funds are just ready to assign, when I go to my budget, there's no longer any activity. It's just like really high ready to assign amounts. So the income will be thrown off in my reports for this, for this first month, but like going forward, it'll look normal and should be okay according to them. I also had some activity under home items because I had money from my goal checking to pay for a new TV, like just assigned under home goods, but apparently that like doesn't show your accurate spending, so I moved that money from Ready to Assign and then I just assigned it. So now it's a more accurate picture of what I'm actually putting towards home items. There were also some, red categories that were previously green, but now they're red because I realized these amounts were coming from my second paycheck, so I moved money from it for my first paycheck and do other things. But that is all the housekeeping stuff. Should be normal now. I tend to like to work my way from the bottom up, so that takes me to credit card payments. I don't want to pay off my credit card until August of 2022 because that's when the interest kicks in, so I'm okay with carrying a balance for now. I'm using it for most of my purchases and doing small payments. As you can see here, my payment is 0, which means I am on track with that. I have watched several videos on the YNAB credit card feature. I even attended a webinar, and I still think I don't fully understand the process, but I do understand the simple instruction of clicking record payment, and then whatever number it tells me, that is the amount I put into it. Right now, there's no number because it's 0 because I'm on time. If you're new to YNAB, just know that clicking, record payment here or whatever, that doesn't actually do anything in your real life bank. It's connected to your bank and it pulls your data from there, but it's still your responsibility to make that payment in real life. It's not an automatic thing that it does for you, so just know that. And when I go back to my budget here, it says I am all on track. So the next category is investing. I put a little bit more towards investments from my first paycheck than I anticipated because I could not resist the low prices of Bitcoin and Ethereum. I put $20 towards each, so $40. It didn't make a big dent in my budget, so it's not much of a risk. And I realize it's also not much of an opportunity gain, but I'll take advantage of a dip when I'm covered. Now for the rest of my Roth IRA payment for the month, that's $500 a month, so I'll add another $250 here. And then I also invest $450 automatically every month, so I'll take that out. And then also Acorns pulls roundups for me. That's probably my favorite feature, and I'm sure it'll pull another before the end of the month, so I'll give myself $5 there. I haven't heard of any other like official investing site like Vanguard, Fidelity, TD Ameritrade, or other established platform of doing roundups. But if you know of one that does, I would love to be able to look into it because the expense ratio for Acorns is not really worth it, but I just don't know where I want to put it yet. Now to keep paying myself first with priority savings, I am on track for this mostly because as soon as I finished budgeting, my last video, I set up those transfers and I put it all aside instantly. I am kind of insistent about never moving money away from my savings accounts once I put it there. I do take things out for its intended purposes, like for example, all my bills are drawn from this housing category and my dog has his own little category, and whenever he has a vet bill or something, I pull from here. But I have never used any of my savings goals to cover for overspending, and I hardly ever move money from one category to another savings category. Like once I put it there, it's almost like just basically locked in. The only flexible savings category that I have is my monthly buffer, and I think I set that up to help me get a month ahead, but honestly, I've just been using that one to cover overspending. So far, my only savings categories that are automatic are housing and emergency. I used to have all my savings automated, and I would like to get back to that, but I am in the middle of some changes right now, like refinancing, investing more, etc. I just want to make sure that I'm not going to be stretching myself too thin because I know having less money is going to be a hard hit for me. So it's going to stay manual for at least a couple more paychecks until I'm in a new groove. And then realistically, I know what I can automate. So in the meantime, I'm putting an extra $184 to some of my medium priority savings because all my high ones are already covered. That will be $25 for my car fund, $66 for traveling, $20 for medical care, $25 for a house down payment way in the future, and $48 for my education because I would love to get a master's degree, but I really don't want all that debt. I wish I could be more liberal here this month with putting more towards savings, but there was a big wrench in my income this month, as you can see by just how little money is in my housings category. I always expect it to go down a little because all my bills are drawn from this account, this category. I do match the category with its own account. And to me, that extra work is worth it because I just want to rest assured that no extra money is ever at risk for leaving that account. But it's usually a little more balanced out because my roommate always contributes, $800 a month because she gets her own room, bathroom, the upstairs loft, and the garage. But she recently lost her job and I don't really want to get into it. We do have a legal agreement, but I'm just trying to be flexible right now. It's very stressful for me because she's never been late before. And obviously, as the homeowner, all financial responsibilities fall on me regardless. So I'm going to assign another $328 here on top of the automatic $468 I put there out of every single paycheck. So overall this month I will have put $1,264 towards my housing fund when I normally only put $936. So that will definitely be less money to spend and save in other areas. Oh gosh, look how low that is. I knew it was going to be so low. But on to spending. I always cover my basic expenses before my lifestyle expenses, of course. My bills, previously I had estimated about $420, but it's going to come in a little bit under that, which is great because I just moved any extra money back into that housing category. I spent more on groceries than I planned because I supplemented my HelloFresh with mostly frozen meals. And also, I buy too many beverages. I like to have options of sweet tea, Coca-Cola, Sprite, and lemonade, and I know water is free, but I just feel like some meals and different flavor profiles, they call for different drinks. Like, I'm from Texas. I can't have barbecue without sweet tea. I'd probably like go to jail or something, you know? So it's just me being honest that even though groceries are a necessity, a basic expense, I still splurge on stuff that I could cut on. I'll be doing 2 more HelloFresh boxes, one in January, one in February, and they charge early. So that'll be another $124. I'm a homebody, so you would think that my transportation would be low, but I always fill up my gas tank at halfway. Like, I don't want to be stranded somewhere with no gas. I don't even check gas prices. I'm not going to avoid going somewhere just because the gas prices are too high. I'd rather feel comfortable knowing that I have gas rather than wait and run low, just trying to get a good deal that I might not even get. I have a 250 max goal for transportation, so I will add another 20.52 just in case. Chip did get a new bed. It's his second one in the house. He has one next to my work desk downstairs, and then he has one in the living room where there's a big window for him so he can people watch. I think my dog deserves the world, and I love to overspend on him. He is the only thing I can spend on without feeling like sort of guilty. And so I am sure in the future there will be more for him because there's not enough for him ever. For home goods, I kind of mentioned that I'm paying off a TV, and then I also needed some cleaning gloves. I hate cleaning, but it has to be done. If I ever make a whole lot of money, I'm going to get a housekeeper. Like, that's going to be priority number 1. For compassion, I actually have not given any money away yet this month, which is really disappointing. I need to just get cash back on a purchase and then just like give it all away. I should have given that away by now because it's already like day 14, but yikes. I'll probably add some more money to this category if I have anything left over. For health, I just spent on a couple of masks because I always need more. For lifestyle expenses, I overspent, and no one is surprised by that. I wanted to spend around $75 per pay period, and I just have no excuse. You know, when Wingstop calls, you answer. I don't know what else to say, you know? I don't regret it. The rest of my subscriptions come in this month, so I will fill that in. I also have a Fabletics subscription, but I skipped that this month, so I just deleted it. Even though I almost always delete it, I still keep it in my subscriptions area because I don't ever want to risk spending $50 like basically on nothing. That's how they do it. They give you credit if you spend $50 without like buying any clothes. So if I ever did forget and they charged me, I would keep it under subscriptions because I didn't really get anything out of it. And then if I ever did actually buy anything from them, then that would go in my clothing category. For personal care, I just really needed some chapstick. For clothing, I went to the Loft and thrifting. I think I wanted to spend $75, but for $86, I got 2 shirts, 2 jackets, 2 sweaters, 1 dress, and a pair of wedges. I'm 5 feet tall, so it's pretty hard to find petite clothing, but I'm pretty happy with what I was able to get for that amount. For fun money, I did see West Side Story, and I cried into my popcorn the entire time. I loved hearing Maria sing her songs like in an accent, and it was so much more beautiful than any other rendition I'd ever heard. For gifts, I'm doing a contribution to a political campaign, and then I was also going to gift myself something, and I did, but I decided to put that under fun money as well, because I just feel like the gifts category should be for stuff I give to other people and not necessarily stuff I'm gifting myself. Oh, and this category used to say I'm owed, but I changed that to lending because like I felt like that sounded softer and less stingy. And then stuff I forgot to budget for, nothing so far. Everything this month I have budgeted for. Like some categories I spent extra on, but there was nothing like out of these random categories. But just to prepare myself for the rest of the month, let's just do an even $30. So I'm left with $186.95, and I realized that I forgot to put my reoccurring contribution of $46 into my emergency fund, so I'll put that there. And with the rest of the 140.95, I am just so nervous about the rent thing that I'm not going to assign it anywhere else. I'm going to leave it under this buffer category, and hopefully that will all work out. So that's everything. You can see all of the assigned for the month. Let's check my 2022 intentions. For spending, I wanted to spend less than $3,000, and it looks like I'm gonna hit that. I wanted to put $617 towards savings, which with this weird income, even with this, I obviously already did that just by how much I put into my housing fund. And then I wanted to put $965 towards investments, and I am on target for all of those things, even with the shortage that I had this month. And everything is either green or gray, which is exactly what I want to see. My budget might look a little bit different than yours visually because I use a tool called YNAB Toolkit. So if you'd like for me to explain like the features that I'm using and what they do, just let me know. And let me know if you have any questions about my budget or anything really. So thank y'all for sticking around. Stay safe, stay happy, and I'll see you next paycheck.